Well, we're all fattened up from Memorial Day. Some of us are still licking our chops because the ribs are so
Uh,
good. Let's roll that intro.
Just two guys named Ricky and Zach. Strum that rhythm, never look back. Easy talking when racing's a blast. Just here on the High Octane Podcast.
Welcome back to the High Octane Podcast. We've had a week off. Come Memorial Day weekend, hope you were able to celebrate that very special day with family and friends. And yeah, we here at Friday Night Fuel had a pretty chill week. My name is Zach, and over here, still munching on some ribs from. Oh wait, man, I gotta retrain myself,
there you
Ricky.
go.
I
You
got,
got
I
it's
got, gotta
another
go
way.
over here. I gotta
You
go
gotta go
over
the
here.
other way.
My man over here, Ricky. Say hello to the internet, Ricky.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of High Octane Podcast, but we're actually in season 3 of Friday Night Fuel, so whatever. But Viva Las Vegas, and Zach, we got to do it. Viva Las Vegas for my man in the back right here.
I gotta leave this thing up to you. I didn't do enough of that on Sundays, but good enough for the show here tonight. We're gonna have some people rolling in. We have the link posted out in Discord. If you guys out there in YouTube land want to go and share the link, make sure it goes to like iRacing community and things like that. That would be a worthwhile thing to go and do. But in the meantime, we got a show to do. We've been taking a week off, which actually lined up pretty well with Friday Night Fuel and their schedules, simply because they also had an off week. And we are going to continue this every other week schedule here for the podcast. So normally we're going to have a whole nother race to recap and be able to come with you with a bunch of information. But just so you know, tonight's episode is going to feel kind of like an old school high octane podcast. We recap one race, we do a pit stop, and we look forward to what's next. So not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, we did preview a race, and Rockingham was run and managed to put together a pretty decent show. It was a very difficult track to go out in these next gen rides, and ultimately, John Gutekunst comes out on top. Yeah, John Gutekunst comes out on top because 1-4-1, baby. My words matter. And if you are following in our Discord at all, and you happen to be following through the Indy 500 and NASCAR and all world events as of late, I don't know what's going on, Ricky, but I got my mojo back. We said it was a new season. I'm ready to go, and I'm predicting things everywhere. So Bill France is trying to get into NASCAR, and called that about a week ago, and here we are. But John Gutekunst is able to run away and win the thing at the Rock. You, of course, finishing second, and Bill Sleep, strong run in third. John Gutekunst fourth, and Dalton Gibson rounds out the top five at Rockingham. I know it happened a little while ago, but
Timeout. Timeout. Go back through that running order one more time. You said John Kuda in fourth. Do it
oh,
again.
John Garrett, as if
He's
he
gonna
doesn't
get mad at you, buddy.
as if he doesn't complain about the podcast enough. John Garrett in fourth place and Dalton Gibson in fifth place. Excuse me, my thousand apologies, as it was multiple weeks ago at this point. But if you could talk to those who are watching about what the Rock was all about, really challenging setup, challenging racetrack, made for some interesting racing. But a really tricky contest. It featured 9 cautions, 27 caution laps for this 236 lap event. So we weren't just pacing around the whole time, but definitely a difficult track.
Yeah, we had a tremendous amount of grief-eyed running during that event 2 weeks ago, and John just had long run speed. We were able to probably keep pace with him. Maybe, man, I wouldn't say half the run, but probably towards the front or half of the run, we were able to keep pace. I thought we were saving tire during the event, and just turns out we weren't saving enough tire. So kudos to John for what he did and backing his corners up and saving tire and being able to carry that speed throughout a run. And I feel like once we got trapped also in dirty air, that kind of probably burnt a little bit more of what we were used to being in clean air the entire first, I don't know, Zach, probably 50 laps of the race. We were in clean air the entire time. And Um, Another cat that really surprised me too was Dalton Gibson. I know we talked about him last episode, and we're probably going to talk about him when we roll the points. But that kind of shocked me to see him being able to keep up like that. So it shows us that yeah, he is an overall talented racer. Interested to see what he does when we go to the road courses this season, and that was a good showing for him and for us. We kind of were gifted that second place, so back to back second places for us at Daytona and Rockingham, and going into this week where we're unfortunately not going to be in the car, and we're not going to show up tomorrow night. That's two really good starts to the year, and hopefully we can build on it coming into next week when we're back in it.
I found it really impressive, John's run, especially at a track where I definitely knew he was going to be good at. I mean, I predicted he'd be the winner, but again, really does suit his driving style. It's a track that wears down tires. He's very, very good at long run speed. If it stays green flag, it's right in his bucket. And but what I was probably most impressed was John missed Daytona, right? And he's got to come out swinging, right? Or trying to get points early, trying to be aggressive, and ultimately he gets the win. Now he anticipates he's going to be racing full time, so as long as he makes this minimum threshold of races, he has every intention to. Daytona was just kind of a one-time thing for John. He's locked into the playoffs, and we're going to get to points here in a little while. The points are going to reflect that, but that was really impressive to me. Like, you're already starting in the hole. You can't make mistakes. You're going to a track that's good. Some guys would just be tempted on racking up a bunch of points that day and moving on to the next week. But John threw himself right in the mix all throughout the event.
Right, and I believe he won the stage if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
He led the most laps, so there's 2 extra bonus points. I don't think he had the fastest lap, but that would have potentially been a third point. I mean, he almost swept the weekend when it comes to maximizing his point effort, and now that solidifies him into the playoffs as another winner. As everyone knows, and also if you're new to the show, it's win and you're into the playoffs. So that's great to solidify him in that, and so that makes 2 drivers now locked in to run for a championship. That would be my partner over here. I don't know if you're this way or that way. I think you're this way. I'm just gonna say this way.
Nope.
Wait, he's this
Yep,
way.
that's right.
He's this way. This guy, he's locked in. And then now John's locked in. So those 2 are going to be racing for a championship when it's all said and done. And yeah, way to overcome defeat, right? Try to climb the mountain. Why not come out the next race and say, you know what, guys, gloves off, locking myself in here. I'm a winner. Beat that. Come with it.
Yeah. Yeah, real strong effort. I mean, super, super impressed. Talked about Dalton Gibson last week. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. And really, really impressed with the runs that some of these guys are putting out early. We talked about how Bill Sleep was swinging at Daytona and showed a lot of good promise there. That guy stayed on the lead lap, hung around. There's only a few cars on the lead lap at the end of this thing. There was mayhem on the final lap, and Bill was able to swerve and curve his way to a third place finish. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Bill early on. I know it's just 2 races, but Bill's really impressed me the first 2 starts of the season.
Yeah, and we're fortunate for me and you, Zach. He's involved in other leagues that me and you are a part of during the week too. So that's just building his confidence, not in just a next gen car, but other forms of racing. So we're in an ARCA league together with him. I don't know if he's a part of that Truck Series league or not, but if he does that, there's
Yep.
more seat time for him that he's getting up to be a part of. I know David Mayo is one of his best friends on the server, and we've got an opportunity to get to know both of those drivers. David was a part of our TTR developmental team in season 1 when it was called HSRA, and now seeing Bill Sleep have consistent finishes like that, I believe he pulled out a top. I left the session early on Tuesday, and I believe you did too. He probably put out a top 5 at Daytona when we were in that ARCA league. So good for Bill. Like, you got to keep that going. You know, he's probably this season's Kirby Caputa, and Kirby's unfortunately is not racing with us this year or this season. That's a dark horse to probably make the playoffs, and he'll probably point his way in. We know we're going to have multiple winners. I believe we'll probably have multiple winners in this league. Or when I say multiple winners, like they'll have more than one win. But Bill can very well just point himself in if he keeps running consistent like he's done the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We the next thing on our rundown is taking a look at the schedule. I do not have a scheduled graphic here. I apologize. I overlooked that. And there's many details about this that I have to sort through and look through. And yeah, that was the one thing I overlooked. But as we look forward on the schedule, there are more than a few interesting races coming up that I think Bill is going to be able to hold his own and really showcase himself very early on in this season. We're going to go to Las Vegas. It's a bit of a cookie cutter racetrack. It's pretty straightforward. Bill tends to have quite a bit of speed at those kinds of tracks, and really super interested to see how he winds up running tomorrow. Taking a look at the schedule now on my end. After that, it's Darlington, right? Little tricky crown jewel throwback race. You want to do well there. It's just a lot of discipline. I think you can kind of pull a Rockingham, right? Rockingham's very comparable in terms of tire wear, in terms of trickiness of the racetrack. Bill is really good at just not over driving, just kind of staying in his lane and making sure he's taking care of his stuff if he doesn't wind up in somebody else's mess. That could repeat at Darlington. Then we go to bumpy old Texas, 2009 Texas. So this stretch of races could really catapult him in the points moving forward.
Yeah, and I know we're talking about schedule and you're talking about drivers. I'm going to go back to the schedule for a minute. So when we came together with the admin group and we wanted to make the schedule, we based it off, I can't remember, was it 1999? We did it off the 99 schedule.
Yep.
But we also wanted to ease drivers into it, right? So every time you're making a schedule, you don't want to throw your hardest tracks out first when you're having a new group of people, you're trying to figure out how each other race. Trying to figure out tendencies and all that stuff of other drivers. So we tried to make it as easy as possible. So yeah, like Zach said, we started in Daytona, then we have Rock, then we come to Vegas, Darlington, and then that's the one I got circled, Zach. Texas, obviously for obvious reasons, being the home track, and it's the old school place. So the place they never should have changed to begin with. So I'm excited to go there. And then we go to Martinsville, and then we'll take a break, all-star race. We're actually, Zach, we're not going to be participating in the All-Star race. Will we be in Atlanta for the NASCAR Cup Series race that weekend? So excited to get a chance, an opportunity to get in front with you and have a good time and just have fun and let go for a weekend. And then we go into Charlotte. So that will be our kind of Coca-Cola 600 as the real life drivers did that this past weekend. That'll be our opportunity to showcase and show tribute to all the military, first responders, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think it's like 23 weeks, Zach, we're doing. So I'm excited to, as we go along this journey with the podcast, excited to share along what we got as far as the schedule goes, and can't wait till we get to the playoffs. Hopefully me and you are in it. Oh, you're in it for sure, but hopefully both of us are battling for a championship, and looking forward to these road courses that are coming up.
Not used to saying that, huh? Like
Not used to at all.
And just and just me already being in there. Yeah. High octane, high octane trackside live episode from Atlanta.
Ooh, we should. Ooh,
maybe
check the box.
You'll have to let us know if that's something that you want. Maybe we'll have to check our schedule and see if that's something we can wind up doing. But we'll see. Maybe we might get even an elusive David Mospa.
Ooh, 3 of us in the booth.
Then we don't have to rely on his internet.
Maybe he's not blinking all the time. I like where you're going with this.
All right. Well, that's enough planning for the future. We got more stuff to talk about now. So let's move forward with our time together tonight, because there is certainly a lot to cover. Rockingham, come and gone, right? It's multiple weeks now in the rearview mirror, but that does have ramifications on our points update. And we're going to give you guys the playoff seeding points, just so we know where the cut line is. We know who's locked in. If you're interested in looking at the regular season championship points, if you're in our Discord, you can go to that Sim Racer Hub tab and find the race for the regular season championship. All that stuff is there. Or if you're not in the Discord, you can go to Sim Racer Hub and look up Friday Night Fuel, and you'll be able to find us there as well. But we are now going to take a peek at the playoff standings. Yes, never too early to talk about playoffs, especially with 2 new winners in 2 weeks. That line gets bumped up a little bit, and drivers who were comfy aren't comfy anymore, and there's a fight for the line. And man, you guys just need to stop being tied, coming from the guy who's making the points graphic. But ultimately we have a full field now fighting for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I know my stuff is a little bit delayed compared to yours, Zach's, but at least, I mean, I know me and Gibson are tied.
Yeah, stop
And
it.
there's still a lot of people that can make this thing. John Garrett's on a part-time schedule. If Mark can show up, that's the driver I'm looking for to possibly steal a spot. The one guy who's actually surprised me in the past 2 weeks, and I think we mentioned him last episode as well, Ryan Seabright. I remember when Ryan first joined our league and it kind of struggled the first couple of races, and then towards the end of the year, he kind of got into a groove. Man, he's coming out swinging this season. Another dark horse that I'm looking at for him, Tony Bassler, right behind him, 1 point in 11th. He's had 2 pretty decent weeks. I know he had a DNF last week, and then I believe at Daytona he finished the race when all chaos broke loose on the last lap. But Tony Bassler's there. But looking at the driver of the 88, he missed last week at the Rock. So if Mark shows up tomorrow, does he do what John did and just races his way and then solidifies his spot, right? So E-Step is leading the regular season point standing. That's not a surprise to me, as one of the 4 championship drivers was in it last season. So Cody Mitchell's in there. Brett in 8th, he's there. There's a lot of familiar names that we see in this top 12, and there's some new faces also that we see that are kind of not surprising, but you expect them to be there. But some of the new faces that's a good storyline.
Yeah, towards the end of the regular season, a guy like Cody Mitchell tends to want to point his way into the playoffs, but there he is sitting at 7th. He's pretty secure right now in his spot, a few points above the cut line, prioritizing stage points and making sure that he's staying ahead of the game. Looking down through here, of course, that battle for the cut line is super, super tight. You have Oot, Evans, Garrett, of course, on a part-time schedule, not eligible for the playoffs, but we just include him in there because I like 25. 25 is a nice number, so that's why they're all in there. And when they make playoff seeding, they won't be in the playoffs. So we're going to see what happens with some of these guys. Also, Friday Night Fuel this year, we're looking at different payouts and trying to incentivize drivers for staying in through the duration of the season. So we're going to be eventually talking about the best of the rest in the fight for 13th position. We'll see how that shapes out as well. Just because you don't make the 12 doesn't mean there isn't more stuff to fight for. And those guys that are hovering around the cut line, I know they want to make it in, but their season won't end when playoff time comes around. There's still more stuff to fight for.
Right, and I believe that's one of the best things that you could do is to keep league participation going on, right? The guys, unfortunately, aren't racing for a championship, but they still have some money that's on the line that could possibly come their way if they continue to show up week in and week out. And that's what we encourage here at Friday Night Fuel, is just to get the participation. We don't really care about how many show up. We don't care if there's a full 40-car field, but we all care if we have consistency. And so, yeah, when those 12 drivers are ready to go for a playoff or ready to go for a championship, the guy who finishes 13th will get some sort of payout when it's all said and done on championship night.
Yeah. So moving away now from the points, we're going to transition into something a little bit different for our pit stop. We talked about some championship favorites that are going to be duking it out there as the season goes along. Of course, we're only 2 races in, so who knows, except for me, but who knows who's going to be duking it out for the championship here through 2 weeks. So we might as well take a break and now reflect on something a little bit different here in our pit stop. we're going to be talking about documentary season for NASCAR with their transition to Prime for their broadcast. And I'll get your thoughts on the Prime broadcast here in just a moment. NASCAR's been really focusing on media outlets on Prime. They had a channel, and they still do, on the free streaming service Tubi. And then suddenly I was notified today that NASCAR itself has a channel now on Prime through their live TV. Yes, in HD. So you don't have to squint and figure stuff out like you do on Tubi. Everything's clear and everything's good. And that channel features, of course, some throwback races, but it also features some different podcasts and things like that on there. Your favorite Sirius XM shows are on there, and really cool stuff that NASCAR's trying to do on Prime. But with that said, there's also more. There's documentaries coming out, and the Rowdy documentary for Kyle Busch has come and gone, and now all 4 episodes of Earnhardt are available on Prime. And we're going to spend a little bit of time about NASCAR's efforts to break into the Prime space, the streaming space, the wave of the future, and get your thoughts on Earnhardt, NASCAR's efforts in general on Prime, the broadcast from this past week. Really, the floor is open for you to take this anywhere you want to here on the Pit Stop.
Yeah, I thought Prime did an excellent job covering what they did at Charlotte. It was by far, they're probably going to hate me saying this, but I thought it was 10 times better than what Fox had done during the first half of the season. The amount of, and they ran a play, not a playback, but they ran a side by side on Twitter of how many total commercials that each broadcast had from the last time Fox had the 600 to Prime's first time. And it was significantly different. The numbers were, but I thought the coverage was better. Before they had the pre-race show, Zach, you sent a picture. They had a countdown, and it was I don't know if it was from the helicopter or a drone that was showing it. It was like a countdown to when the pre-race show starts, but they're showing all the festivities around the racetrack. I thought that was pretty cool and unique. And then obviously seeing Dale Jr. back in the booth with Adam Alexander, who has paid his dues to be in NASCAR as an announcer, a play-by-play announcer, getting an opportunity to broadcast Cup races, and then Steve Letarte. Everyone loves Steve Letarte, so having Dale Jr. those two back in the booth, I thought was really good. And there's just so much going on with Prime. I know when Fox had their stuff, they had practices and stuff on Amazon Prime and all that. So it's cool, and you can still go back and look at those practices. The other day, I was watching, practice from TMS and Coda, so it was cool to see, like, maybe catch yourself on TV or something. You don't know. So I thought what they did was amazing this past weekend. And then going to the documentary, haven't had a chance to see Rowdy yet. That's on my bucket list or shows to watch. Earnhardt to me has been amazing. Everyone knows, if you're a race fan, the past of Senior and what he went through to go into racing and getting divorced a couple of times to then building his own race team. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes yet. I'm sure that's when they get into Dale Jr. and when he gets in the 8 or the 3, then the 8, and then the rest is history for what they did at DEI until Dale passed, unfortunately. So looking forward to seeing those. And yeah, Amazon, I didn't know they had that channel though that you just mentioned. So I'm gonna have to go see if I can find that. I don't have live TV on Prime, but maybe I could probably find it somewhere. I don't know.
Well, it's certainly worth the watch. Earnhardt. I was able to watch. Thank you. I was able to watch my beautiful, perfect wife, Kayla. Everybody.
Kayla.
Chants thunder from the crowd. I was able to watch the last 2 episodes of Earnhardt, and it is phenomenal. And got to hear some things surrounding the 2001 500 that I've never heard before, and that's always interesting as a NASCAR fan to cue in on and to take notes. This was certainly a very in-depth, personal, raw documentary, and they did a fantastic job. So very appreciative of NASCAR stepping into the modern day. I think the Prime, I echo your sentiments. Prime broadcast is phenomenal, and yeah, it kind of stinks that we only get a few weeks of them, but we'll take what we can get and enjoy these next few weeks on Prime.
Yeah. So I just looked up Prime Zach, went to live TV, and sure enough, there it is. Boom, the NASCAR channel. So it looks like they're showing the 2021 race from Nashville, and then everything after 10 and 10, 15-ish, 10, 18. That's what they're saying on the guide, is like extended highlights. So that's pretty cool that NASCAR is dipping and diving into trying to get their own channel going. That's cool. There's also some other stuff that you can watch on there, and there's a movie channel and a Paramount Plus. So we have Paramount Plus because we watched Landman. If you haven't watched Landman, I know it's a racing show. If you haven't watched Landman, go watch it. It's a good show. So yeah, they got awesome stuff all over Prime. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And when we promise when there's new NASCAR 25 updates, we will be sharing them with you here on the channel. There's nothing new yet. So we're going to take a break from talking about console gaming and nerd out on Prime for a little while. And now we have all this content to fill our waiting time, right? So really excited that NASCAR is stepping into the modern day. And we get a dose of what maybe a grown-up broadcast looks like. I know, building up the mystique and taking the sport seriously, the small things that should just come automatically, but we get them now for Prime. So moving out of the pit stall and taking a look through the windshield, we have our Las Vegas preview to look at here, nicknamed the Diamond in the Desert. This 1.5 mile D-shaped oval with 20 degrees of banking. This speedway hosts all kinds of great motorsport racing. Ultimately, this track was constructed in 96. It held its first major event in September of that year. The IndyCar race was won by Richie Hearn. The first NASCAR race followed 2 months later, and the track was awarded its first Cup Series race in 1998, marking the beginning of the track's long-term success. Won by
Mark Martin.
Mark.
There you go. I was going to tell you. Other way, buddy. Other way.
Martin. Yes, and we get to enjoy this very tricky racetrack. Lots of great memories for me at this track specifically, but really excited for the action here. Next gen cars tend to race well here, a track where I always say it when we go to these kinds of racetracks, where driver personality comes out and shines. You can race anywhere here and make up some speed. The trick is not driving in the wake of the guy in front of you. You have to be a versatile driver around here, ready to make passes at any lane possible, and normally makes for some fantastic racing. I'm so excited for Vegas.
Yeah, this place is bad fast and it's bad fun. I love this place. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to be in the car tomorrow to do this. So this will be 2 years in a row we've missed the Las Vegas race and haven't had a chance to get on the track with our fellow competitors. But this place is going to be fun. I believe they didn't rescan it. They updated the asphalt with it. So now you're really able to run anywhere on the track. I know there's been multiple tracks on season updates with patches that they've been able to update the asphalt on them. And so this is one of them. This is one that you're going to see guys go either all the way up to the wall trying to be like Kyle Larson, or they're going to be stuck to the bottom and try to be like Zach Woods or Kevin Harvick and just wrap that white line all the way around the racetrack. Speeds are crazy. You're probably entering the corners close to 195 mile an hour on both straightaways. Maybe a little bit slower on the back, but I know for sure you're close to almost 200 going into turn one. And on a quality lap, we'll see guys probably exceed 200 and able to put a fast lap down. Hopefully temps are cool. There's no there's clouds, so the track stays cool, and these guys can just rip it around Las Vegas Motor Speedway tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I think keys to the race are going to be being smart about tire wear. And for those who are inclined to run the fence, you got to take care of the race car and not ding it up so bad that on a track where your speeds are really high, you're going to crush in that back fender by smacking the fence. So you got to be careful when you drive up there. That's why I'm too scared to do it. And because I'm not that talented, but I know some of those dirt guys that we mentioned earlier, this is a time for them to shine. They
Right.
are excellent in these next gen cars, sort of riding the cushion, right? So they're I expect big things from that dirt centric group here at Vegas.
Yeah, those guys able to run the outside lane. They do it all the time on the server when they do their dirt races, able to not jump the cushion. That's something we're going to look forward to tomorrow as rubber gets laid down on the racetrack. Going to see them trying to venture up. And not everyone's going to be able to run the outside at the start of the session, right? Marbles are going to be involved. You don't want to get your tires in that. So as the rubber continues to get laid down, you'll be able to see guys venture up. And I'm looking at some of those dirt guys to hopefully be up front when that groove starts to come in. You're going to have massive runs if you run the outside. Keys to the race also going to be the exit of turn number 4. I believe the track narrows out just a little bit on the exit of 4. So we're going to have to see how these guys do when they're side by side, 40 plus lap old tire age on them. And notoriously, Zach, in these cars, they tend to push with the setups that we have for this season, not to push up into the other guy who pushes them into the wall. And then once they bounce off the wall, they come down and give them another high five and say, "You hit me, I hit you back." So that's going to be one thing we're going to look at tomorrow. Hopefully, Mark is racing. I'll be able to tune in and see what he's got going on his stream.
All right, we've reached the point in the show that everybody gets really excited for, except for this week. And we mentioned it earlier in the show. My buddy Ricky will not be racing this week, and we, in a perfect world, right, we would have one of us not racing because we don't want to be partial towards friends and whatnot. And I try with my predictions to be as based as humanly possible. It has worked this year, but you're not racing this week, and we went a good portion of last season without me racing, and that's kind of why I got the prediction role on the show. But now I give you the power
Okay.
of the prediction, and I know we're a team now, so
Okay.
I mean we're 1-0.
Okay.
Don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. You might never get it back.
That's that's very true, sir. I don't know. Man, this is a big responsibility. How do you do this week in and week out without people getting mad at you or onto you or like how do
People do
you
that.
do this? Oh, they
People
do?
do that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Spencer Teal's in the comments. This is his favorite part of the show, but he's not racing
Yeah.
this week. So
Well, I saw that. I said he's not racing. That was going to be my first. And I'm glad he's here because he was actually my pick. I was going to pick him, but
I would have. I
Howie,
knew he wasn't racing this week, so I would have corrected you.
man, Till, you let me down, man. You're going to be my pick. All right. I've had a chance to sit on this when I sent you the agenda for this show today, and was able to kind of look through the drivers, kind of see who we think are gonna be good and who's not gonna be good. So I actually have 2 picks. I got one. You'll see. You'll figure this out. Okay. My real pick, I think this is the guy that's probably going to end up winning the race. So this is my real pick. Man, he started off really strong. He had a top 5 car both weeks that we've been able to do this. We talked about him earlier in the show, and confidence is growing with that driver. I'm going to go with Mr. Dalton Gibson. So Spencer, I know you're not racing, but you're the car owner of JST. I'm gonna pick Dalton Gibson to lock himself into the playoffs. But if this guy shows, he's gonna be really tough to beat because this is his bread and butter. And I'm gonna have to go keep it in the family. I'm gonna have to pick Mark and pull the same strat that John did last week. If Mark shows this week, I believe he'll be in victory lane. But if Mark doesn't show, I'm going Dalton Gibson.
All right.
Am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to bend the rules a little bit?
Well, I hope you're wrong twice. So yes, it's our show. We can do whatever we want. So it's it's okay. But yes, so basically, you've guaranteed not perfection by picking two drivers. So I just
Well,
want you to know you've messed up the perfect record.
oh, it's okay. We'll figure it out.
It's not okay. I've worked very hard for this. But anyway, Dalton has been really, really strong. I really like that pick. And coming from JST, those guys are always, always good. Oh, Teal says he may not
Uh,
be racing. So we'll have to see. And then, man, if your two picks,
if they
oh,
don't show, what the
oh,
heck, man? I need
oh
to call my
no.
brother after the show. We're gonna get
Ricky's
off
more
this.
cursed. Ricky's
Yeah,
more cursed than Zach picks. Oh,
yeah,
Ricky's picks don't even show up to the racetrack. Oh,
yeah. No
oh
kidding,
no.
dude. Like, we need to send an Uber to the airport, or like, what are we doing, Till? What's going on, bud? Why are we not having people show up to these races now? I'm calling Mark after this show, by the way. I'm gonna say he better show up tomorrow night.
Oh, you've ruined it. You've ruined it. Anyway, yeah, well, if they do show, I can really anticipate both of those drivers duking it out here, right? It suits their driving style as well. They're super aggressive. Uh, Dalton's been really impressive over the first couple weeks here. And of course, he holds the regular season championship lead right now. He's got a lot to race for. Mark, defending series champion, got to come in, got to bounce back from not showing up last week and get some points together. And we all know that guy's going to be aggressive, trying to get stage points and trying to be out there as much as humanly possible. So I guess we should have raised his last Friday. No, it was a special holiday. So really, really solid. I hope one of them comes true. So technically, we're still right. But Ricky, do you have any closing thoughts on the show for today? Anything you want to say to the folks out there watching?
Yeah, just appreciate everybody tuning in. I know we don't do this on a weekly basis like we used to last week, so it's always cool to see everybody tune into the chat. Till, appreciate you for tuning in, and any other people who are out there, thank you so much for the support. It's really much appreciated. To our admin team, everybody that puts this thing on, as far as the league, and then you, my friend, for doing the podcast stuff. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys in 2 weeks back in the car. And good luck to everybody tomorrow night. Hopefully you can put on a good show. And yeet. I did it this time. Yeet.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Well, for everybody watching, my name is Zach Woods, and for my rowdy broadcast partner, Ricky Gonzalez, we want to wish everybody a good night. Make sure you tune in next time for the High Octane podcast. Take care,
Yeet.
everybody.
Just two guys named Ricky and Zach. Strum that rhythm, never look back. Easy talking when racing's a blast. Just here on the High Octane podcast.